Hello out there. It's Paul Mosenson, and
And Brett Julian, good morning.
there he is. Are we on the mirror side? I don't know. Anyway, there he is. There he is. I'm from NewSpark, fractional CMO, and Brett is from Sales QB, right?
Yes, correct.
Yep. Marketing and sales, talking together, fighting it out. And today we are going to talk about your website and why sales should care about what people like me do to generate leads through your websites and landing pages. It's critical, right?
Exactly. It drives our leads, and plus it looks good. Hopefully,
Yeah, well, yeah, they're qualified for sure. But, anybody in sales, what's up with you guys marketing? We want more leads from our website. What are you doing? You know,
well,
oh, just wait for the SEO to happen. Well, that's not the answer, right? So, it's
we
got to
talk,
drive.
it's obviously a giant topic, but I mean, obviously, you're today to just talk about a portion of what the functionality that you look at it to
You
be is.
know, the website's critical. So, so if you're not driving more leads from the website, you can imagine if your conversion rate goes up. And you know what that is, right, Brett?
Why don't you go over what do you mean by conversion rate?
Yeah, well, if you or your team should be on Google Analytics tracking or whatever tool you have to track um, personal outreach, with their email addresses or phones or emails, compile all that as conversion goals, so, divided by the impressions or the visitors you get. That's a conversion rate. So if you have, like, say, 1,000 visitors a month, and you get like, you know, what, like two conversions or something.
Right.
That's pretty bad. Or even if it's like, you just do the math, right? Um, you know, but if it's a 2%, that's okay. But every company's different. But at least you're managing that, and if you can imagine increasing that conversion rate with the tools we're talking about today to even double from 2 to 4%, you can imagine how much more revenue you could get, provided everything else is the same, like your closing rates and all that.
And doesn't it start with just how a website's laid out, like what their plan is?
Well, yeah, well, it kind of starts off, you have to do a step back. I always do with clients, right? And kind of really understand, a website is a conversion engine. That's what it is. It not just promotes your company and what you do, but the most important thing is you got to communicate the value you give to prospects and how you solve their problems. We talk about that all the time. You know, what can you do as a company to solve your buyers' problems and communicate that? You're selling outcomes, you're not selling your features, right? So I look at those things because, buyers only have a few seconds to decide if your company is right for them, right? They have to decide,
Yeah.
because, don't think they're just looking at you, right? Looking at competitors, and they have to make decisions on which companies to get on, quote, their short list, right, in order to engage with them. And if it's not, compelling enough for conversion, there they go. Bye. Let's go to a competitor.
And you track that through analytics, like how long someone stays on
Well,
which
that's
page or what.
that's all engagement stuff, though. I mean, we were
Yeah.
talking about at the end of the day, it's still conversion, right? But I mean, there are some clues there. If they're reading different pages of the website, that means they're engaged, they're learning, and reading your case studies, reading your about us page, all those kinds of things. Which people are trying to make up their mind as far as, I think these guys are right for me. They understand it. They understand it in my language. If it's not written that way, if it's not organized that way, like I said, they're going to leave. So kind of like any when the point is with sales teams and stuff is you understand that we're not just promoting advertising and lead magnets and things like that. At the end of the day, it's still about sales, and that means people are going to look at the website for that validation that this is the company for me, right? So I'm going to give up my email address to contact them. So that's all about, like, what we call conversion optimization, Brett. And anybody listening to this, C-level people, whatever, they have to understand it's technical, but your website's your lifeblood, right? It represents you. It's not just your brand,
Well,
but it's
it's like other topics we've
sales.
talked about, like how can sales help the endeavor for, I'd say, marketing on the website, right? That, I mean, and I guess I would say, I mean, it's at least content, right? As far as knowing part of the buyer's journey, what those clues are, being able to include that message or knowledge back so that you can then craft the website for that journey.
And that's
Is
for
that how
sure.
you?
I mean, you as a salesperson, we're always talking to people like you in marketing, and we need to. If not, it's a problem, right? We're always trying to get information about buyers' problems, right? It gives us lead magnet ideas, email marketing ideas, and the website. We want to make sure that we're aligned so we know as we write website copy and emails and things like that, that we're embracing, and we agree to what the problems are that a prospect has. Because remember, it's not just why a prospect needs our services or your services. It's also why should they buy from you? You're answering two questions: confirm that they need it, and the problems that you solve, and why choose you. So, and that's the beauty of the magic of a conversion friendly website. Is all those that content organization of not just the what but the why.
Yeah, so you're touching on, I guess, key tips for a conversion rate, right?
Yeah, well, there's a ton that we look at, and again, salespeople should know what's going on here, right? Because
Mhm.
their leads and their revenue and their quotas and their, as you know, their revenue and their commissions are all based on, could be based on volume. So if we can, like I said, increase conversion rates and get more leads to the website, everybody's happy, especially if you have a good sales team and can close them. But you don't know if you can close them unless you have them.
Yeah,
So you look at all these best practices. I mean, there's two things here. One, you know, other than the messaging we just spoke about, navigation, all that, but there's a proof and trust factor, right? Which is the testimonials, the logos, the case studies. It's proof that you can solve these problems, not just say you can do it, but here's proof, right?
right.
Especially if you have like video testimonials and things like that, which are very powerful. And case studies have to be written a certain way, like give me the solution as the title. Let me read on it,
Right. What's the
understand
impact? How'd that work?
how you
Those are
increase.
always hard to get too. I always find case studies just seems like,
Well,
you know, you're finding that after the fact, and it's always hard to get a hold of
well,
people.
sometimes, but I think as when you make a deal, what my suggestion is when salespeople make deals and close deals, part of their deal is make sure that marketing works with them to have the benchmarks of where they are, right? And then currently, and then after, communicate to them maybe after 6 months or whatever it is, or at least some certain time frame where we can come in and after we fix the problems in marketing or
Mhm.
sales, and we have numbers that we could show: increased leads 25%, increased sales 30%, increased closing rate this amount of percent. Then you can write up a case study as long as the client knows up front that, I appreciate you, you know, signing up, becoming a customer. I mean, whatever it is, whatever the call to action is that makes the sale, that, every contract should say, you'd be open to be included in a case study. Um,
The best companies I've seen, or been part of, have had that part of the sales reps compensation or expectations plan, is that you will provide 3 case studies this year
yeah.
or something along those lines, and you add that
Right.
up with a bunch of reps, and you have a lot of case studies. But I've
It's
never seen anything on blogs. Have you ever seen anybody jointly work a blog on a website? Sales and
well,
marketing.
well, normally no, but
Yeah, no, I know I haven't either.
well, blogs aren't a real. I mean, they do contribute to conversion rate. Again, it goes back to understanding the buyer personas and what
Right.
topics they'd be interested in, and that's where sales can help us with ideas. But blogs are fodder for newsletters, sharing on social, things like that. I can write a blog on a certain topic and you give it to salespeople to follow up on their leads, and that's
Yeah.
really important. So think about it. Like if your sales guys are just saying like, checking in, following up, blah blah blah, right? But
Right.
if you said, people just wrote this blog, you might be interested in this topic, because then you're building trust and thought leadership that, hey, these guys know stuff, and it's kind of like helps that along when they're comparing different vendors, so to speak. Try to
Right.
get an edge.
That that's a key area of being able to help kind of drip campaign on either current clients or ones that are thinking through things, and have something to refer back to would just be important. So if
Yeah.
we could
Well,
jointly make something along those lines, it'd be very handy.
well, think about it. When you have blogs and things like that, and prospects look at them because it's targeted, and they click and go back to the website. That gives you, some CRMs will say, okay, well, there's a clue that someone's engaged, so give them a call and try to follow up, make an appointment again, or whatever. Or again, you're still building trust and everything. And if somebody does go back to the website, they're also reminded as they look around of the value proposition again that we've been speaking about early on. But so all those things, you just can't take a website lightly. It's the support, not just driving conversions from traffic, but support from, as you know, from the sales side of things, because CEOs, CFOs, or people, stakeholders are going to look at the website and kind of said, yeah, these guys, I think we should contact them or make a deal with them. It's all validation, right? And if it doesn't talk to their needs, they might say, I don't think these guys get it, let's move on. So you see what I mean? So that's
It
how it all
seems
works
like a
together.
lot of companies only have one website and they focus on that, or they let it kind of sit out there. What is your thoughts on having a couple different websites?
No, well, no, stay with the one website. You can have different landing pages and different
Yeah.
sections, but that doesn't make sense because you want to stay in your domain. But but you might have different landing pages for different marketing tactics if you want to test different offers. Promoting your lead magnets on a landing page, if that's what you mean, or promoting, maybe a special offer for a holiday or something. Who knows? But it kind
Okay.
of brings people in. But you can always test landing pages, especially if you're doing email marketing or e-blast, and or whatever it is, and say, look, hey, we have a special, do a demo. Like if you're a SaaS product, do a demo, and it's January, so you might have a January special, on
Or new product
which
launch or
I
something,
see them
or
all the time. I just bought like 2 products myself because I was reading something that said, you can get everything you want for 30% off if you buy it by the end of the month. There's that's a lead magnet that's, with an offer that's getting me to say, okay, I'll try it, right? I mean, other things to increase conversions, of course, again, salespeople need to know what marketing people are doing to drive conversions, is, of course, optimizing the chat bots, right, on the site. Putting like exit overlays. We've seen them before, right? It's, think about, don't leave yet until you
yeah,
download our lead magnet, or don't leave yet because we have a special offer. You've seen them. They could be annoying, but also they could work too. So
or
it's okay
hopefully
to
at
test
least
those things. I do them all the
you,
time.
you know how in the beginning when you get to a website you haven't seen anything yet, it says, "Hey, do you want a newsletter?" Like,
Well,
I don't
don't
know.
do
I haven't even
yeah.
seen your website
If
yet.
if you have a pop-up that's going from when someone visits the first time around, well, that's not the right way to do it, right? Because they're
Yeah.
not ready yet. But yeah, sign up for a newsletter, whatever it is, do that, as people start exiting. They're called exit intel overlays. So, but anything you do to get newsletter people and to get, offers and other ways to generate contacts, well, that's first party data. You know what that means? That means, you can market to them, you can, retarget them and things like that, especially with, cookies going away, later this year, and with things like that, that first party data is you can feel free to market to them. So you're going to see probably a big increase in newsletters and pop-ups in order for people to build first party data into their websites. And that means, contact information, whether they're buyers or not, at least you can target them. So, so we'll have to see how that goes. But at the end of the day, like we said, to really summarize everything here, because we want to keep our show short, is don't take your website for granted. Okay, I'm sure you're
Not
spending
just
a lot of
one and
time.
done.
I'm sure you're
Right.
spending a lot of time with sales teams, right? And Brett trains them, and Brett, and people like him, coaching and coach tips and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you can get better quality leads and more quality leads coming into your website, boom, you're going to get more revenue out of it. I mean, think about it. Once somebody like me optimizes the website, when we go through all that for conversion, then you might want to spend more money on marketing, right?
Sure.
And then you spend more money on marketing, get more visitors. And then if you get more visitors and we increase the conversion rate, you can imagine,
Right.
the end of the day is you're going to get a boatload of new leads. So that's important. Quality leads will, nurtured properly. You close them. It's a win-win for marketing and sales in your company.
Have a good plan here. So
yeah. So anyway, well, that's it. Website optimization. Do it. Increase conversions.
As before.
Right. Easier said than done. It's a but you got to test. You got to try different things. But
Definitely.
at the end of the day, think about Robert De Niro if you're old enough to remember Taxi Driver movie. Remember his big line, right? You know what his big line was in that movie?
It's been a while, Paul. What's that?
Oh, geez. What's it? Are you talking to me?
Oh,
You talking to me? You talking to me? So think about Robert De Niro in that old movie, or maybe you can stream it somewhere. But that's how a website should be, right? To drive conversions. You talking to me? You talking to me? Okay.
So make it the buyer's journey. That makes sense.
That's right. All right. Well, I'll catch up with you for another show.
That's all for now. Bye all.
See you later.